Welcome back to the channel, lads and ladies. You're looking at Toshio Thunder with another, what would you call this? Current events update, I guess. Welcome back to Grind Thunder, meine Freunde. You guys like my German? It's really bad. Anyway, you know what else is bad? In a good way? The M20, or the Chaffee. I can't think right now. I've had Tank Baby yelling at me all morning. She was so grumpy, and she was telling me na 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 na, which is how she says no. Everything I did was wrong. So hi Chaffies, are you happy? I love you. So anyway, guys, this is just some highlights from the grind because that's all I'm really able to do right now. Spring is turning into summer here on the Oregon coast, and I have all kinds of things I have to get doing. Speaking of which, how are you guys doing on the grind? Have you decided to give it a shot? What a shot. To try and get the PV2 or the Matilda quote. Kirby's just gave me a toy. Yeah? You see that? It squeaks. Can you do that? So basically I just wanted to keep you guys updated on what's going on with me. I'm not going to be making as many videos because I'm a very busy boy right now. I'm an amateur, you know. I've poured my passion into these videos, and this is a hobby for me. But more than that, I say this all the time, this is my way of connecting with you guys. Making videos has been my way of reaching out to this great community of people that enjoy this game that I've come to love so much. And you know what else I love? Chinu 2, one of the best premiums in the entire game. Fantastic vehicle, very able to perform, and it gets a lot of love. Rightfully so. You can take this into higher tiers if you want, and we're actually intentionally up tiering here to get our destroy vehicles of one rank higher than you achievement. We need 10 of those, and we get several of them in this battle, so that worked out rather nicely for us. If you're looking to get rank doesn't matter or the like, I highly recommend the Chinu 2. It's a great tank. It goes up against things that are big targets for it, and if you catch people out of position, you can do really well. So we're just taking a little bit closer look at this match because it turned out to be a good one for us. And again, this is an intentional up tier. We are bottom tier plus, and you just catch people when they're not looking at you and when they're not focused in your direction, and you can make them pay. And of course, this is arcade. It's much easier for me to catch people out of position in arcade because you can be more aware of where they are, and so I take advantage of that for grinding events. I actually enjoy playing Tank RB more sometimes, but it's just time to get things done. And like Tiger Frost, I make better progress in arcade. And so let's see where this match ends up taking us. Into a B25, I can almost always get a defensive kill with the B25, especially in arcade, because this thing is so rugged and it has multiple rear-facing gunners. This guy's not paying attention to me, so we see if we can't get some hits in on him. Kill assist, I'll take it. And now there's also like some bombs in this airplane, so maybe I can make use of those. We'll see. We did take some pretty heavy damage here, and we're continuing to take ground fire, so we go down, and that is the end of the story for the B-25. Here we are, driving out again, looking to take advantage of the enemy's panic now that we're turning the tide against them. They're even more going to be pushing forward, and boom goes the dynamite. So at this point, you can see that I have a screen of spaced armor in front of my tank. Toshio, what do you mean spaced armor? Allies are the ultimate spaced armor. If you let somebody go out ahead of you, and take a look at the positioning of my team on this map, it's best to have your team spread out in a fan to cover multiple avenues. And if you see that the flanks are covered and there's one or two people in front of you to soak up fire like that Jumbo is doing so nicely for me, then you can feel free to push up and take advantage of enemies who are out of position or trying to attack your heavily armored heavy tanks in the front. And then, if I am giving you tips now, guys, just oh man, it's morning time and I'm feeling it. Oh, I slept like a dead man last night. Anyway, guys, if I mowed several lawns yesterday and I'm like totally out of shape. So another tip for arcade and well, just about any tank in general is not to overexpose yourself. If you feel that the enemy has a pretty good chance of knowing your position, it's probably time to reposition. And here I'm just playing with my teammate. Congratulatory friendly fire all around. Yeah, na. She's getting mad at me again. Alright. And carrying on. Don't expose yourself too much. And another tip that I like to use is, see what we're going with here on the P47. This thing is so evil. Again, the only reason we're flying Air Arcade is to grind out some air kills, and the P47 is really good at getting those kills in a short order. This is not a how to fly video at this point. But back to talking about ground forces. If the enemy knows where you are, it might be time for you to reposition. If you're in a strong position, take advantage of that and let them come to you. And another thing is always have 2 escape routes and hard cover near you if you're going to set up in some position. And then if you're moving to a new position, have a reason to go there, have a reasonable understanding of who can intercept you, and hopefully nobody can. And move from cover to cover as quickly and efficiently as possible. And again, don't drive into a cover that you haven't assessed first. Where can I be flanked from this position? Can I protect my tank from this position? Do I have access to shooting at the enemy from here? Look at this evil airplane. And I know you guys need proof, so here's proof that I'm not like a total noob still, you know, after all this time. And even in arcade, look at this, we got an F8F on us. Even in arcade, there's room for skill. So here we go, defensive flying. This is the same strategy I would use in this situation against an F8F in RB, but it's just kind of speeded up because roll rate and energy retention are greatly increased in arcade. You can see I'm not giving him a chance to get his guns on target, and here I have to reposition the camera and I lose sight of him, so that's where he should have had me. But we continue to be aggressive. Well, I'm defensive, but we're aggressively defensive. Anyway, we've got our flaps out because we can do this in arcade, so it helps us turn much, much harder than we'd normally be able to, and that's the difference between RB and arcade. But we'd use that same descending spiral to defend ourselves. Now we're on his 6, but he has a lot more energy than us, and that means that we need to spray and pray with these 50 cals. This is our only chance to really get him here. And we snipe him from long range. There is room for skill in arcade. There you have it. And we got the award. So here we are in a B-25. Couple of targets destroyed. We just needed to get some ground targets for a what's it called? Daily task. So we went ahead and jumped back into arcade to do that, because sometimes your arcade missions are going to be a lot simpler than your RB missions, or vice versa. So it's good to check and see what your options are if you're not completely committed to playing one game mode over the other, and I recommend that you don't get locked into one game mode. I've been greatly enjoying Sim. lately with the event. Yeah, Guppy, you gotta have more respect. You can't just throw the fishy on the floor like that. And also, you're not supposed to be pushing through the barrier like that. Yeah, the barrier is there to keep the tank baby away from Dada. How do you feel about that? Yeah? You want me? You want me to pay attention to you? Okay, come over here. Oh, you can be here, but you gotta be good. Don't play with the microphone, okay? So, there we have it. Mission success. And here, we're practicing up. Do you see something a bit different? How the gun's not going exactly where we're aiming? That is because we're practicing Sim. So whenever I am about to go play in Sim, I like to brush myself up on the vehicles that I'm using. Do you guys hear Guppy? She's pushing you guys around. How do you feel about that? Are you going to let a tank baby push you around? Or a tank toddler? I like to brush up on the vehicles that I'm using. And can you kill an IS-4 from the front with a with a Stug? You know what? You're about to find out. So this is a good way to get used to where the gun is shooting. I know the weak points on IS-4, and I'm seeing if I can get a trap shot or get one down in the tracks. And look at that, trap shot with a Stug. Isn't that cool? Also, I love the commander's position on the Stug. It's a really good vehicle. Similar. IS-4 is so deadly, and if you can get a side shot on a T-34, again, this is practice, so we're just getting a feel for where the gun shoots. Even if you know what the parallax is, that's the difference between where you see and where things actually are. Even if you know what that is, it helps to brush up on things. And I've found that just taking a few minutes to mess around in test drive or a custom battle really helps me get my skills to where I want them to be for when I go into a match. So having said that, we will shortly be entering into a sim match that I had on the German team. And I like the Germans in sim. Those reliable guns are very good, and the Stug has a very low profile, which can be quite helpful in the sim environment, as you can see. And this is a game mode where it's all about detecting the enemy before they detect you. And with that, here we are. So are you guys noticing that Tank Toddler is even more of a handful than she was as the Tank Baby? Yeah, that chassis upgrade really changed her amount of combat effectiveness in the living room. So Tank Baby is currently taking a nap, and she must have been tired, because there's like this strategy when Tank Toddler gets too demanding and you know that it's time for nap time. You make a nice warm bottle and you plonk her down in the crib, and as soon as her little child body drops below like waist level, she's like, oh no, it's this again. And she starts like complaining at me, you know, like you know, and so put her down in the crib, and she's getting all grouchy at me already. And then go ba, and so she's like, okay, and then she readies her hands for the bottle, and she grabs it and just starts like feeding away, you know, like a hungry little tank baby that she is. And if I'm very lucky, she'll finish the bottle and then just like yell at me from her bedroom like, hey, you tricked me, for like 5 minutes. You know how much she yelled at me this time? 0. She was very tired. I don't even know if she finished the bottle. She's just KO in there. So here we are, and just like in the subtle art of love, in simulator battles, it's all about positioning, right? You want to be in the right place at the right time. You want to have the right attitude. You want to be aware of what's going on around you, and you also want to really know where your partner is, right? where is that T-34 Chan? Where are you? So I like this spot on, what's this map called? Kursk. I like this spot on Kursk because you can be within striking range of the B point, and that point down there. Is that the C point or the A point? I can't remember. And I can't see with the editing software I'm using. You can be within striking distance and have a good view on people who are moving through open terrain, and also anybody who's silhouetted up against the ridge line. And we're using our ears here. We heard some gunfire from the brush, and you can see smoke from an enemy vehicle pouring out. He is probably destroyed, or soon to be. I've got some good backup here, and now I announce my position every now and then with T for 1, follow me, and that marks your position on the map for your allies, which is a very, very useful thing in Sim, because as you can tell from looking at the minimap, in simulator battles there are no vehicle markers on the map ever, which is rather interesting. I really do like Sim. It's just a bit constrained. I usually can't play the vehicles that I want to play because Sim is usually an event. Some gunfire, he's on fire, and we finish him off. Very nice. And you can see that even though that Stug ally was very close to us, he's very difficult to detect, because the low profile of the Stug, add on some bushes for camouflage, and you've got yourself a very deadly Sim predator. In RB, vehicles tend to be more aware of your position, and they have the advantage of a further out third-person camera. There is a target. Let's see if we can get on just a bit low and forward, which is more an aspect of parallax. Our enemy, or our friend, puts a shot into him, and we put another round in, finishing him off. It's some good teamwork there. Now I see a target down by the capture point. Can we get a hit into him? Just not quite enough. But at this point my blood is pumping because I only need 2 more kills, and there's one of them, in order to get one of my tasks completed. That is, you can get 11 kills in arcade, or you can get, what is it, like 6? Yeah, 6 kills in RB or 4 kills in Sim in a ground vehicle in the same match. Now, they don't have to be on the same life, just so you know. And in fact, spoiler alert, I'm not going to get my 4th kill in this vehicle, but after I respawn, I'll have my chance to finish out the objective. And since you've been right along with us, by the way, how's your seat? I know it's a little bumpy. Be careful not to hit your head on the roof. It's thin armor, but it's still tougher than your skull, so you know, fasten that seatbelt. But oh, hey, where are the chips? Can you pass the Cheetos? Yeah, they're down there by your left hand. No, down, like in between the seat and the... Oh, yeah, there they are. Okay, thanks. Appreciate that. I can't have many Cheetos because they have MSG, but oh, they're so good. Anyway, you may have noticed that Sim is more of a gentleman's game, right? There's a whole lot less UI going on, and I really like that. In fact, I love the Sim mode. It's just that I spend most of my time grinding in this game, and Sim is not all that good for grinding for me. I'm sure it works for other people, but the matches tend to be about twice as long as a typical RB match, and about 3 times as long as a typical arcade match, so even if you get good results over time, it's just not as good for grinding. But it's one of the best ways to really fall in love with a vehicle, because you really feel, again, and this is the reason that I play War Thunder, you feel like you're actually commanding this vehicle, even more in Sim, in my humble opinion. So if you haven't tried simulator battles, it's worth a shot. There is quite the learning curve. There is no protection from friendly fire, so you need to visually identify friend from foe, and that is going to be the main thing to to focus on as an early sim player, maybe follow an ally and see how they move and position themselves. There's a lot of experienced players in sim, and the reason I'm kind of using this video as an introduction to simulator mode is I really think it's worth taking a look at. Even sim air battles, but that is even more of a learning curve than ground forces. But still, if you're looking for a new aspect of the game, I talked in another video about how War Thunder is really like many games in one. And if one aspect of the game is getting you down, if you're getting frustrated, then maybe try something else. And as you can tell, there's a whole lot of just moving around in simulator battles, as you've obviously seen. This is nothing new, but it gives you time to really think about your strategy. It's often a quieter game mode, and battles are often with fewer people because less people play sim, so you'll get onto smaller teams, and thus there will be less action, but that's not always the case. It's even more important and valuable to be in communication with people, and I didn't have voice comms on for this battle. I wasn't squatted up with anybody. I was just in random matchmaker because I really didn't have time to do more than just play one battle and then go to bed, because I've been very busy lately. Have I mentioned that? Anyway, guys, how are you doing? Are you having a good day? I hope you're having a good day. How do you feel about sim battles? Have you played sim lately? What has been your experience? Do you have a way of getting ready for your sim battles? Have you considered taking out a vehicle into test drive in sim and getting a feel for the gun? That's what I do. It's a lot of fun. Here I've been doing all the talking. I should just listen to you guys for a while. Look at all those airplanes. Difficult to identify airplanes in sim mode, of course, because there's no markers. But in this battle, there's two types of ally plane and two types of enemy plane. Fighters I wouldn't be too concerned about, because although they are technically able to punch through your roof armor, that kind of attack is even more difficult to accomplish in simulator. Fighters, they're probably more busy fighting each other, so you don't need to really worry about identifying them. As a ground vehicle, the thing you want to look out for is the IL-2s. IL-2 can carry rockets and bombs, and those are capable of taking you down. There are some very skilled sim pilots out there who can make ground targets suffer for their lack of mobility, even situational awareness. And the way you identify an IL-2 is by deciding if it's not a Stuka. So they look somewhat similar from a distance. The Stuka, of course, has the inverted gull wing design of wing, whereas the IL-2 has a very flat, broad wing, and from the front you can tell the difference, or from directly below you can look at their profile. But I've found that the easiest way to identify an IL-2 is, and here we see another enemy. We take a shot. Can we finish him? No. Lucky shot goes right through the weak part of our armor. He aimed very well there. So that guy was either very lucky or very skilled. And we just didn't quite get that shot the way we should. So going back to aircraft identification, here we were vacillating a bit between jumping into a plane or going back onto the ground. But IL-2 has retractable landing gear, and Stuka does not. So if you're looking at the sky to identify an attacker, the Stuka will have landing gear sticking down at all times, and generally the IL-2 does not. But of course there's a famous historical precedent for IL-2 attackers flying low and deploying their landing gear in a ruse to make enemy troops think that they were Stukas, or at least to doubt their identity until they could get within range of their very powerful guns and armament, and make those poor fools on the ground suffer for not seeing what was coming toward them. I'm dying. So I hope you guys are having a great time with this event. The World War II Chronicle it's really one of those things where if you have the right attitude, it can be fun and fresh and engaging. But if you start from the position of, I just want to get this over with, I want to grind my way through this event, then it can be frustrating early on. And like I've said to everybody that I've squatted up with, it's like, well, when I play the Germans get stomped. When I play the Russians get stomped. So what are you gonna do? And I honestly, even though I came into this with an attitude of, let's just see what we can do. Let's try and have a good time. Let's see what happens. I wasn't making very much progress in RB, and so that was getting kind of frustrating for me. And I thought, do I want to switch to arcade? And I played one match in arcade, and there were people that were just sniping from like 1.5 kilometers. And you're just way too visible. There's so much open space in arcade. It's really difficult to do any kind of positioning, and we spot a Panzer IV there going into the B point. It's very difficult to do any kind of moving around in arcade, so it's just hard to influence the battle, in my opinion, for this particular map. So I wasn't interested in that, but I decided, you know what? Let's give Sim a try. Because, 2 years ago, I played this very event, this very map, on Sim, and I had a great time with the Stug. Because of its stealth, because of its reliable gun, and from range, your lower hold is reasonably durable, and your transmission can soak up quite a bit of damage, protecting your crew and allowing you to engage with the enemy. In fact, I was rather surprised that we got one shot by that T-34 earlier, but as I said, he aimed very well and hit us precisely in a weak part of our armor. So well done on him. And there we can see an aircraft. And is that an enemy? Is that an ally? I'm honestly not quite sure, but we took a shot at him anyway. So at this point we are hungry for a 4th kill, because I know that'll tick off a requirement from the event, so that I don't have to grind out too hard on the next day. And I'm just running out of time so fast to get these things done. Life is really coming at me quite a bit here. I need to hurry up and get famous so that Gaijin just gives me these vehicles, because now that I'm making videos, I really don't have as much time to play the game, and it's just too bad. But you know what? I'm passionate about making these videos. And guys, if you're still with me, thanks for sticking by. You see that this event, or I should say, Sim is a lot less action-packed. But when you do get success, and where did our rounds go? I kind of feel cheated there. There's our 4th kill. Very satisfying. And our team is doing well. This has been a very close match, as you can tell from the what do you call that? Victory points ticker? You know what I mean. Like the one piece of UI you still get up there. And I'm proud of my team. I love it when you're with a group of people who are competing against some other skilled opponents, and you manage to come out on top. And I think we win this one. I don't quite remember actually, but I'm just happy that I end up getting my 4th kill here, because that means one less thing I have to accomplish with this event, and the match drags on a bit longer, so thanks for sticking with me. I decided to leave this one uncut because I wanted to give you guys a feel for simulator battles. And sorry, I don't think I have game audio for this clip. I often listen to people and just my recording settings have been changed around so many times between streaming and recording and this and that, so my apologies. Again, this event's got me going all over the place, and the match is just about to end. Guys, thanks for watching. It's been a pleasure sharing this time with you, and again, I've been super busy, but there's so many things I want to do, and I'll just have to catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.
Time to tell you about my secret dog and pal. Go to the clubhouse and we play jacks. I found him on the street, running down an alleyway beside a pizza store. He looked kind of afraid. I took him to my house. I hid him from my parents. They wouldn't understand, cause they're too contrarian. He's my super secret dog and pal. My super secret dog and pal. Super secret little dog and pal. Super secret dog and pal, yeah. Well, my secret dog and pal, he has an awesome face. I took him to the carnival and put him in a race. And they won. Cause he is secret. He's a secret dog and pal, oh yeah.